We're going to Mother Russia in this episode of the Gear Guide. So if you guys know G&G, you know they have about 1 million different airsoft guns. And I mean just about 1 million because they have anything you could ever imagine. But not every company comes out with the AKs, and I'm really glad that G&G does do that as part of their lineup. And we're looking at something from their high-end line, their GT line, and this is the GKS74. So you're probably looking at this going, Jonathan, hey, it's another AK, and it's not. Well, it is, but it isn't, right? There's a lot of really neat stuff going on with this, and I really like what they've done with it. But we're gonna get to the cool parts of this AK that make it very different, actually totally different than any other AK on the market. But first, we're gonna kind of run through the basic build. So this thing, first off, when you pick it up, is a beast. It is a monster. The sucker is heavy. It's because it is made almost entirely of metal. The few parts that aren't metal, it's really pretty simple here, is the orange flash hider, I'll kind of lean up here, which is removable, don't worry, the magazine and the handguard and both front and rear, and that's it. Everything else is metal, and it is a tank. I feel like I could put this across a chair, do pull-ups on it, and definitely if you take a dive on the battlefield, this thing will get up and keep on going. So this being the long guy, you're looking at the big long barrel. In fact, underneath the barrel, you have a 463 millimeter inner barrel, which is really long. So you're definitely gonna be able to reach out and touch your opponents and keep that accuracy on par. Moving across, of course, you look at full metal. You do have a sling attachment point here on the left side of the gun, adjustable sights here in the back, good old AK style, nothing fancy going on there. Metal front sight, which does have elevation adjustments. Then of course your metal dust cover, and thank goodness they did put the scope attachment mount here on the side. A lot of AKs don't come with it, depending on the version AK-74s, S47s, 105s, and all that. Some do, some don't, and they did go with it here. So you can put your standard mounts here on the side. Grip, standard black polymer here, like I said earlier. Fire selector on the side will take you to safe, full auto, and then down onto the semi. And then of course the bolt pulls back to adjust your hop up, which is the slider type, which you're gonna find on pretty much every AK out there on the market. And keep in mind, this is not a blowback gun, so it's all the power is gonna be sending that BB down the barrel. And then rounding out the gun, you do have a folding stock here. It'll press the button, you can fold it onto the side. So if you do want to kind of bring it down, yeah, it's kind of long on the front, but at least this makes it somewhat maneuverable for some CQB. It does lock here to the side with the metal clip, so you can hold it in place and not worry about it swinging back at you. So this is where we get to the two things that are pretty darn neat and unique about this AK. The first is where the battery goes, and it's not in the dust cover like you think. It actually lives right here in the lower part of this handguard. This handguard comes off. You actually will push a little pin up here by that front sling attachment point I mentioned earlier, slide that little metal block forward, and the battery comes out. Is all part of that front handguard, the lower part. In fact, they give you two complete lower handguards with the batteries included, which are 7.4 lipos. And if you're worried about lipos and all that, don't worry, they actually give you a special charger with a special adapter, because this is not a standard Tamiya plug or Dean's or anything like that. It is proprietary to this gun. You're gonna have that right charger to plug right in the wall, top this thing out, and not overcharge because it is a balance charger. And the other thing that's unique about this gun, externally and functionally, is the magazine itself, because it has this little follower that pops all the way out. Now what that does is it allows you to feed every single round out of these 120 round mid caps. Now you do get one in the box, and if you want to pick them up, you can get these from G&G. Now the downside to this, and this is what my test, I've tried a bunch of different mags like D-Boys, I tried even the new US Palm mags, and they are not going to fit in this gun. The way the lip on the actual hop-up chamber works and fits into this, it's a little longer lip on the hop-up chamber as far as I can tell, and it will not let you lock pretty much any other mag that I've tested in place. Now that's not to say that no mags will work, but I would definitely say that in my test with the 3 or 4 different AK mags I had sitting around here in the studios, the only one that would actually even lock in place so I could fire around are the G&G mid-cap mags designed specifically for this gun. But don't worry, these are really good mags. I fed every single round out of this, of course, because of that follower, and these things are extremely well built with the metal plate on the bottom and solid as a rock. So the good news is you're gonna be getting a really good AK mag to use in your gun. Like I said, the downside is you're gonna be pretty much stuck with these. Under the hood of the power plant, you're gonna find your normal version 3 mech box. It pretty much is in every single AK out there. You do have 8mm bearing bushings in here, which is a nice touch to keep the things running really smoothly. And you can tell that even on the 7.4, it sounds really crisp in semi-auto. And then of course, to round it out and match that really long barrel I mentioned earlier, that 463mm inner barrel, you do get a Type 1 cylinder. So that ported hole on there, Type 1, is closer to the back to give you more air volume to match the volume of that longer inner barrel. Some of the mug guns out now are usually Type 2. The holes actually move a little bit forward on the cylinder to match that volume with your shorter barrels, like your M4 length and down. Because this is an AK, the Type 1 does match. I'm glad that G&G went to the detail of adding that. So taking this thing to the chrono, I was braced to see something near 400 because it's such a long gun. I expected this to be outdoor field legal only. Well, good news is they've set this right around 340. In fact, we saw just a couple FPS up and down from 340, so the FPS and the seal was right on, which is really good because some guns fluctuate quite a bit on the FPS test. This one kept it dialed in nice and tight, so you're gonna be able to take this thing to any field, pretty much anywhere. 350 and under should get you good even for the closest of indoor fields. So rate of fire with the included 7.4 integrated grip battery, you're looking at about 11.2 rounds per second, so it's not going to be a BB hose by any stretch of the imagination, but I do understand that they sell different battery grips. You'll need to get a separate charger, but G&G does have those to take it up to an 11.1, which should boost your rate of fire if you want to get those rounds downrange a little quicker, but fear not too. Like I said, that's just full auto. Semi-auto is actually still very zippy and crisp, even with that 7.4, and I was actually happy to see that because that's pretty much how I play most of the time. So guys, if you're in the market for a really cool AK, it does have some unique features, but you want to be a little different, and especially for the value you get, because you're looking at the low 300s as a price point on this gun. It includes the 2 batteries, the charger, and you get all the extras that G&G gives you, which is nuts. They always throw a ton of stuff in there, like BBs. You even get a speed loader to go with this thing, the wind adjustment tool, and all that stuff in the box along with this. Check out the GKS74 from G&G, and this tank of a gun you can pick up anywhere G&G products are sold, or if you want to find a shop near you, we have a store locator on Airsoftology.com, so you can find the closest dealer near you. So guys, what do you think? Are you a fan of what G&G did with the battery up here in the foregrip? Do you think that's kind of neat because it frees up this whole dust cover? It does move a little weight to the front, but being a lipo, it doesn't matter. You're really not adding that much weight, but it does kind of change up the design and add some innovation. Do you think it's innovation for improvement or innovation for the sake of innovation? Let me know in the comment section below. Well guys, that's it for this episode of The Gear Guide. I'll be back in the next one where I show you an AK that they moved the battery all the way to the flash hider and shrunk it down to microscopic size.